Jumbo, everyone. Welcome. It's good to see everyone. This is a very special day. This is African Liberation Day. We know African liberation is
Jumbo, everyone.
is aspirational. Hearing myself, not trying to. It's aspirational. We continue to fight for African liberation because we understand that there's no alternative to it. We'll leave it at that. And thank you to all the folks who continue the work to lift up African Liberation Day. And, some places is turned into Africa Day or Africa Freedom Day. And, there's political reasons associated with all that, but, not to get into it. We appreciate everyone that lifts up the struggle and dedicates the struggle and gives the struggle and works not just today but throughout the year. And we have a couple of brothers today that are exemplary of the type of work we need for African liberation. They're about it, they're doing it, and they've been doing it for some time. But before we get started, we recognize that we are a community, not just of the physical world, right? We are a community of the physical and the spiritual. We always have to call our ancestors, especially the ones that we know are about the work, because not all ancestors are necessarily about the work. If they weren't about the work when they were alive, they're not about the work, on this level. In the next plane, they're the same, spirit. But we know those brothers and sisters and be part of what we do to imbibe us with their spirit, to facilitate us achieving our goal. So without further ado, let me introduce Baba Rafiq Reusi, one of our United Black Community members, and our spokesperson, who will lead us in libation.
Matase Baba Kaleti, Sante Sana, greetings to all of our family who have joined us tonight for this very auspicious occasion. Divine spiritual blessings of peace, love, power, joy, happiness, optimal health, cosmic vibrations, African cosmic vibrations, in the spirit of African liberation, in the spirit of El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, Brother Malcolm X. We certainly want to pay homage to him. We just commemorated his birthday recently. And of course, he
99.
Yes, sir, 99 years. So we want to certainly pay homage to him and all the wonderful revolutionary work that he did for us over the years before he was taken from us. So we want to give thanks to the Creator, Almighty God, Lord of the universe, for all the blessings that have been bestowed upon us, making it possible for us to come together on this day of African liberation. We give thanks to the Creator and the ancestors and all the elders, and we certainly want to draw upon their strength, their wisdom, their visionary leadership over the years as we continue to wage struggle against anything that oppresses us, anything that tries to prevent us from achieving our goals as African people. And we also want to especially reach out to our elders who have departed us. So we want to give thanks to them. So we would appreciate if you would call the names of those ancestors who've given us direction and given us strength and beauty and comfort and wisdom over the years. So I'm going to start with El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, Brother Malcolm X.
Shay.
Brother
Marcus
John
Garvey.
Coltrane. Marcus Garvey. Yeah, boy.
John Henry Clark.
Absolutely.
Amos
W.E.B. Du
Wilson.
Bois.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Francis Cress Walsing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Patrice Lumumba.
Baba Lasana
Absolutely.
Mac.
Patrice Lumumba.
Andre Blouin.
Sergeant for Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah.
Baba Mario Obadeli.
Yes.
Yes. Mama Nia Kaumba.
Chokwe Lumumba.
Baba Kwame Afo.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Amanifu Harvey.
Yes.
Imhotep.
Mm-hmm.
No question, brother. I think I mentioned him, but Brother Onedaru John Coltrane, Brother Sunra, whose birthday anniversary was a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. About Booker T. Washington.
Yeah, bo. So now let's recognize those members of our families who have passed on, our mothers and fathers and uncles and other members of our great families. I'll start with my mother, Mother Pearl Daniels, and my father, Baba Otis Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Mama Ayatoro Asante.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, bro.
Yabo. Henry and Corrado Bockham.
Hey, bro. My grandfather, Frank Carr.
Mm-hmm. Harry and Viola Warren.
My nephew who passed a couple of years ago, Hashim Daniels.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mama Ivy Watkins.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bo. Mama Ruth.
Wilma and Elsie Briscoe.
Hey, Bo. Very good. So we have now recognized the elders, the ancestors, the Lord God created the universe. So we ask that they all bestow their blessings upon us for this program this evening and give us strength, and give us direction, give us courage and resilience and longevity as we continue our struggle for liberation and freedom and good health and well-being. All praises are due. Sante Sana, peace and blessings.
Yes.
Yo.
Oh.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much,
we'll
Baba.
turn it over.
Yeah, Baba. Thank you
Bo.
so much.
My pleasure. My
And
honor.
you know, for folks who may not be familiar with what KUZALIWA is, this is KUZALIWA living a birthday, but this is our annual celebration in honor of Brother Malcolm. The idea is that we celebrate him through the work and particularly with the areas that he was concerned with, he was passionate about. We honor him not just by saying, you know, that we love him and we appreciate his legacy, but we are that living legacy. We keep him alive by keeping the work alive. And KUZALIWA is an opportunity to highlight folks who are keeping that work alive, who are, you know, who are not just, you know, talking about how great Brother Malcolm is, but are actually continuing to work in various areas of people activities that he was focused on. So that's really what KUZALIWA is. And you know, and if you missed previous KUZALIWAs, many of them are on our YouTube page, United Black Community. Just search United Black Community, you'll see the previous ones. And we always want to highlight aspects of the continuing legacy that our people are engaged in, which is in the spirit of Brother Malcolm and all that he meant to us. It wouldn't be KUZALIWA without the Malcolm X dancers and drummers. So we're gonna go ahead and let them show us what they're doing, what they're about, and then we'll continue with the program.
Everything will work out right together. All right, join the hands together. We're going to raise our hands and we're going to shout the word from Robbie 7 times, which means let's pull together. At the count of 3, here we go. 1, 2, 3. So we can go out and announce it.
Glacier, we can't hear it.
No audio, Baba.
Y'all can hear the audio?
No.
No, sir.
Oh wow. Okay, let me try it again.
It's probably what we talked about the other day with the audio thing.
Right. Let's try it again. Sorry about that. Let's get this together. Make sure that what's going on. Can you hear it now? Y'all hear it now?
Vaguely.
A little bit, but very, very.
It sounds like it's just playing in through your speaker that you're talking through as opposed to playing off your computer directly. You know what I mean? It looks fantastic, though. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
Y'all can hear it now?
No.
No. Still can't hear it, Baba. You can hear it, huh?
Yeah, boys. Let me try something else. Try something else. Give it one more shot.
In the corner. Oh, no. Okay, go ahead. It says original sound for musicians off. I don't know what that means, but.
There we go.
That's it.
We hear it now.
Y'all see them?
No
No.
visual. No.
we can't hear, but we can see.
You see it now, but couldn't hear it.
Yeah, but
Well,
can't
we
hear
could
it.
hear it and we couldn't see it. Now we can see it.
What's
We
going
can't
on?
hear it.
It's the issue that we were having the other day, and then I didn't press the audio thing. I just, oh man, it was how I shared it was a little bit different.
Mhm.
Still no sound, Bob. Now we have sound and no visual.
Sound like they're cutting up that Union Temple.
Yeah.
Oh, we got it now.
All right.
All right.
This here, this glass. her son was at. Her son? Yeah.
Thank you to Malcolm X dancers and drummers, always representing. So let me get Bobby Mamu. You're muted. Get Bobby Mamu to introduce our first presenter, brother well known to our community. You got to unmute, Bob. You got to unmute. You're muted.
You hear me now, right?
Yeah, bro, we hear you.
Here you go, Baba. We got you.
Okay. Give thanks for Malcolm X for that wonderful rendition. I had me dancing in here myself.
Yeah, Bo, for years they've
Okay.
been with us, led by Doc Powell.
Right. So as we celebrate KUZALIWA and African Liberation Day, we would like to introduce a young fella that I've been admiring since I don't know how long. Young fella living on Florida Avenue, and I think I lived up the street from him at one time on Harvard Street. None other than Obi Holly. Obi, filmmaker, rapper, father, husband, beautiful young man, freedom fighter. And he loved the zebras. Oh no, I take that back. Kangaroos. That's an inside joke, y'all, but this brother loves some kangaroos, y'all. He might tell you about it, but anyway.
Well, there's some amazing animals.
Yeah, but this brother did some great work. I can't remember the year that he went to Benin in the SONGHAI Center and did a very, very professional tape on the his experience there in SONGHAI. And tonight he's going to talk about that experience and some additional experience. I believe he was there also about a year or so ago, Obi. Yeah, so he's going to share an experience on this project in Africa called the SONGHAI Center. And if anyone is not familiar with the SONGHAI Center, at the end of this program and beyond, I would highly recommend you check out the SONGHAI Center as the way forward for Africa and anyone else who would like to use their concepts. So without any further ado, Obi is going to talk about the concepts and what the SONGHAI Center is all about. So, Brother Obi, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Can everybody hear me out there?
Hear you well.
Good. So, Jambo,
Jambo.
Hey, Jambo.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Hotep.
Tap.
Hetep.
Hetep. Hetep.
Shalom. Whatever language we using. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
And all that good stuff. First of all, I just want to thank you all for allowing me this opportunity. I feel blessed and I had this opportunity to come and just talk a little bit today. We're just going to be talking about Kuumba. You all mentioned earlier, we did a libation and we were talking about the significance of the ancestors and our ancient ancestor freedom fighters from Africa and beyond, and down to all the way to Malcolm X. And even within our DC community of ancestors and our family ancestors, but our DC community of ancestors that are liberators of Black people, African people worldwide, and people that always fought to work on our behalf. And, you know, where would we be without those people's hard work and effort? And I just want to also say, where would we be without your hard work, Baba Kuumba, your hard work, Baba Rasafiq, and everyone that's our elder in the community that has taken up the torch and led the way so that we could be here today. I mean, I have to put an extra shout out to you all because, you know, a lot of times when you kind of grow up, I say that myself, Juwanza Zulu, Tewa, Ya Santawa, who I think was on the line earlier. We kind of grew, and others that grew up in the Pan-African movement in DC and just all over the country. We're kind of like this experiment that took place in the late 60s, early 70s, where you all were bringing your new, and at that point in time, a lot of you all were in college or just getting out of college and just starting your life, and were coming into this knowledge and information of Africa. And there was the, you know, Malcolm X's of the world, the Martin Luther Kings of the world, previously the Noble Drew Ali's of the world, and all this energy, the James Brown singing "I'm Black and I'm Proud," et cetera, et cetera. So all this renewed energy, and you all knew in your hearts that something had to be done to address our situation. And based on looking at the past and looking at where the future needs to be, where it could be, you all took up the mantle of that struggle to impress upon us who we were and who our greatness was and where we came from, and the legacy that we already had, and the legacy that we could build to help shift and lift us up out of our situation. So I just want to salute you all for the work that you all did then and the work that you all continue to do, because a lot of us that grew up in it, we feel like, hey, the elders are there. It was their organization. It's Baba Zulu School. It's it was Nation House. It's the elders. It's their thing. You know, when we grow up, we live in our lives, but it's our thing. You know, it was your thing that y'all were giving to us, and we got to give to our children moving forward. And when we start to recognize and realize that, we create this bridge throughout time of continually picking each other up moving forward. And thank you for laying that groundwork. And thank you, Baba Kalechi, too, for really spearheading and jumping in there for people from kind of my generation to really, you know, push it forward and remind me and remind others, hey, we all part of this together. So I really appreciate you, Baba Kalechi, but I appreciate everyone.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much. Salute to you, to the highest.
Sante, Baba.
without you all, we don't know where we would be. So, but with that, I'm gonna start off today. My name is Obi Holly. I go by a couple of different names. Obi-Wan. Obi-san Ichiban is what they know me of in Africa. And somebody asked me the other day, I don't think I answered that question, but Obi is Igbo. It's the Igbo name, means heart. And Obi-Wan is, of course, when Star Wars came out, they kind of renamed me Obi-Wan, but I do it with the number one. But then I used to produce a show on BET at one point in time called Rap City. And I produced a show called Rap City Japan, and the Japanese host renamed me Obi-san Ichiban, which just means Obi-Wan. It means Obi-Wan in Japanese. So, so that became one of my hip hop affiliates, But I have another name. A lot of people, and even in the Pan-African community, don't know. It's Sauti Tukam. Sauti Tukam. That's my Kemetic name. And so, we have a lot of different names out here in these streets, and I just want to make sure everybody is clear on what they are. But I'm, I grew up in Washington, D.C. in the Pan-African community. I graduated from Nation House, Watoto, first male graduate, along with Tandiwe and Tewa back in the day. I don't even remember the year. It was back in the 80s. And my grandmother was extremely instrumental in my life and the lives of a lot of people in the community, in the Pan-African community in particular. But she reached out to the entire community, as a part of every single organization there was, and worked at every last one of them. And every one of them met at my house growing up.
No question. No question.
So, but she also was my introduction to the theater. And my father sings, he still sings, and he was kind of my music introduction. So combining all those kind of things got me heavily involved in the media. And I wound up working with a lot of people over the years and acting. Joe Walker, who did The River Niger, was one of my director coaches when I was a kid. Mike Malone, who was in charge of the theater department at Howard University. But I look at a few people as like my mental fathers. Baba Ajay Koto, who was one of the main foundational points at Nation House, that's like one of my master spiritual fathers, as well as people like Farrakhan and others. So I just want to, I have to give all credit due to where it's due. But all those influences intermingled, and it led me on a path in the media and film and TV and music production. I still rap and all that kind of stuff. And with that, I was blessed about 20 years ago. No, was it 20 years ago? Might be a bit longer than 20 years ago. It seemed like it was 20 years ago. One thing Baba Kuumba said that made me laugh, and I'm glad I can get along with it just in case my clips don't work out right. one thing Baba Kuumba said that made me laugh is he said, and this young man right here, well, we did something called we do Kwanzaa every year on Ujima night. And it went by a couple of different names of our organizations. African Youth Council was one at one time. We were really, really young. But after that point, it became the 20-something collective in our 20s. And then now we just fall back on House of Ra and Friends because we ain't exactly in our 20s no more.
No.
So thank you for saying, this young man right here. I really appreciate that.
Yes.
But in the early 2000s, I was blessed with the opportunity to go to Benin, West Africa, to do a behind the scenes kind of documentary of a place called the SONGHAI Center. And let me just read this quote because we're talking about Malcolm X, right? And everybody knows this quote, I'm sure. From Malcolm X: land is the basis of all independence. Land is the basis of freedom, justice, and equality. And so that's something to remember at this 99th year mark for Malcolm X, right? To look back at that. And it was that seed, I think, that seed was an important seed that was planted in us in the 60s and lives to this day, especially considering the way that now there's been an extreme movement for Black people of the diaspora to want to go back to Africa, want to build houses, communities, move in and build and work with people in Africa to create this back and forth energy synergy. And so I'm excited that we're at that moment in time. I mean, when you think about how long Malcolm X said that, how long ago he said that, think about the path that it took to get to where we are now, to where now we're going to Africa on a regular basis, becoming the thing. Even rappers are going to Africa. You know what I'm saying? The artists from Africa are coming here. And so now there's this back and forth, this dialogue that's going on. And people are like, hey, I ain't got to be here in America. Back in the day, you tell somebody you ain't got to be in America, what you talk about? But now people know you have options, and we have options, and we're at a different place. And so that's a beautiful thing. So 20 years ago, Owahe Madu Ryan Comet, the king for the Washington, D.C., Baltimore, I think Canada, a couple of other places, chapters of the Osiris Society, he commissioned me to go to Benin to shoot, to videotape the Songhai Center. And I was like, all right, I had been to Ghana already, but I hadn't been to Benin to the Songhai Center. But in his wisdom at the time was like, this is seriously important that you go to Benin to visit the Songhai Center. And when I went to Benin to visit the Songhai Center, I was totally blown away. I had done a number of documentaries, professional documentaries at BET over the years, and then some side projects, etc. But looking back in time, the documentary that I made for the Songhai Center, and my wife also helped with that documentary when I got back and was editing, was a very significant, one of the most significant, I think, moments in my personal life in terms of making films and documentaries. And at BET, most of the stuff I did was entertainment oriented. And that was cool. You know, you got your status and whatever in the entertainment side. But as far as effect and impact on the world with what the Songhai Center is and what it's about, it was one of, when looking back, I'm like amazed that I actually had something to do with that. And then I look at the impact that it had on the world and Black people. I'm like, wow, if nothing else, we can say that we did that. The Songhai Center is located in Porto Novo. The primary Songhai Center is located in Porto Novo, Benin, West Africa. The Songhai Center was founded by a brother from Nigeria who was a scientist, an engineer. I mean, just a massive into biology, chemistry. His name was Father Godfrey Nzamujo. And I'm always saying the za wrong. I'll be saying Nzamujo, but it's Nzamujo, Father Godfrey Nzamujo. And the Songhai Center was started actually back in around 1985, between 1985 and 1988. He had been in the United States. Father Godfrey Nzamujo had been in the United States studying in school, but he knew and longed for the opportunity to help Africa lift itself up, not just through the agricultural side, which we'll talk about a little bit of the Songhai Center, but just lift itself up totally. And it knew that in order to lift itself up totally, it had to be control of what it ate and how it got its food. And it had to be in control of this idea that Africa gets so many imports from different places when it doesn't need to get imports from different places, because Africa can grow anything. It got sun all year round from January to January, right? You can always harvest. You can always do things. You know, of course, there's places that are colder or drier, et cetera, than others. But because of that, he said, let me go back to, he said, but the problem lies in the mentality at that point in time of Africans in Africa. And there were a lot of different issues that were going on, obviously, with the trees, deforestation. There are a lot of different issues going on with the crop, with the land that can actually grow crops. And I'm not a scientist, I'm a television producer, but I'm gonna say it as best I can, right? And so, but there were a lot of different issues going on. There were a lot of different issues as far as Black people leaving the farms where you produce the food and trying to get jobs in the city. Meanwhile, the farms, the topsoil is being eroded, and you can't plant seeds that actually grow in the particular farms in the country. So there were a lot of different problems that were going on that were making Africans having to be even more dependent on outsiders for their sustenance. And the very basics is food. But not just that, the systems that were used to cultivate land, to work the land, were systems based on, a lot of them were based on the colonizers' methods that depleted the soil, destroyed destroyed the environment, you know, toxic chemicals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So him being this master genius that he was, Father Godfrey Nzamujo, he went all over different countries in Africa trying to actually set up the model that he saw that could help revolutionize food production, agricultural production, I mean, even machinery production. And a lot of people turned him down. But then he got to Porto Novo and the government kind of laughed at him, and they gave him what he said was like the worst land in the city. And they was like, man, if you can make something happen on this land, it's going to be a miracle. They said, yeah, you know, so they basically gave him, kind of gave him the land. And he was like, all right. But with his genius and know-how and his technical ability and everything, he was able to take land that nobody wanted, that people laughed at and threw out. And he took a number of students, African students, and they cultivated the land, worked the land to where, even to this day, I mean, just over a little bit of time, the land went from no production to massive crop production and animal husbandry and machine development, et cetera, et cetera. And to this day, to this very day, the same land that was being farmed then is being farmed now and produces abundant and more abundantly because of the techniques that he was employing that are not being employed all over Africa, unfortunately. So therefore, over time, he realized, he said, no, we have to train farmers from regions all over Africa and teach them our techniques so they can go back to reproduce this model in their own villages, etc. And not just that, we're going to take this Songhai model to various places in Africa and set up Songhai farms to create an interconnected network of these farms and the people, and just grow more and more and more and more people. Now, these aren't just regular farms. These are totally sustainable farms and areas with crop production, animal husbandry, equipment, composting, everything, and everything is totally sustainable and recyclable. Nothing is wasted. And there are absolutely no chemicals. The rainwater is used. The gas that's emitted from the old plants, from the animal waste, is turned into biogas that they use to heat food and heat other things. So you're talking about total genius, and they're all interconnected. For example, and you might see it in some of the video, if they have an area where they're growing certain vegetables in Songhai itself, you don't get attacked by mosquitoes because the way they have it set up, they have the lake set up where the mosquitoes lay their eggs, but the catfish eat the mosquitoes. They introduce certain bugs and flies in areas that eat the natural predators so that they don't have to use chemicals in those areas. I mean, and it's one section connected to the next section, connected to the next section, connected to the next section. This process that Father Godfrey Nzamujo has created is one that can not only revolutionize Africa with its tropical environment, but can revolutionize any area which they're saying there's a need for food production or there's a lack of food or that kind of thing. As a matter of fact, it's unfortunate what's going on in Haiti now, but he told me years ago that, you know, they were requesting him to come into Haiti. Haiti would have been a perfect model. But then, you know, Haiti went into disarray. This was even 20 years ago. But places like Haiti, Jamaica, anywhere in the Caribbean, anywhere black folk at, right? Anywhere anybody at. This model is amazing. And no one, here's the thing, no one on the planet was doing it like Father Nzamujo. You have white people with these things all over the world called living machines, where they take water hyacinth and they filter the water through different levels of different kinds of plants. And it's an amazing process. But in a lot of the systems that process is being used, that system is not in a real life situation. In other words, these are like scientific study labs. But in Father, in the Songhai Center, it's real life. If it don't work, the crop is going to die. You know, if it don't work, things aren't going to work all the way down the line. This is real day-to-day living. And because of that and his expertise and his commitment to it, he's literally been flown all over the world to teach and give lectures on the Songhai Center, how it works, etc. Back in the day, it started on one place in Benin, West Africa, but it's 20 plus locations in Africa right now, and growing. And I'm always scared for Father, because I mean, the level of genius that he's been able to bring forth is so intense. But you know, he has a spirit behind him. The other thing about Father Godfrey Nzamujo, and you'll see when I play a couple of these clips, is that he has a total commitment to the upliftment of Black folk, period. He has a total commitment to the upliftment of Africa. A lot of people in, you know, maybe in so-called cultural circles might be like, hey, he's a father, why is he father? You know, that has nothing to do with anything when it comes to him. That's he uses his path to help his cause, no matter what. So he doesn't care what your religion is. He doesn't care what your background is, what your whatever is. If you are for uplifting African people and uplifting Africa, then he's for you. He's willing to work and trying to make that happen no matter what. Yeah, so it's an amazing process, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it. But let me really quickly also say that was 20 years ago. In 2022, we went back to Benin and we went back to Ghana, and I'll show you some footage later, and you'll just see a little bit about how it's grown and got even more incredible. In 2022, my wife and I went to Ghana and Benin to the Songhai Center for a production called Rebuild Africa. And Rebuild Africa was another thing that Owahe Madu, Ron Comment of Osiris Set put together, where basically we went to the Benin and we went to Ghana and we did performances. It was myself, Ayana Gregory, Dick Gregory's daughter, and my wife, Aminika Shepsut, and we traveled throughout Benin and we traveled throughout Ghana in a lot of different locations to raise awareness and also to raise money, because what he's doing is taking students from these various areas in Ghana and he's sending them to get trained at the Songhai Center in Benin. And not just that, they're also going to be building Songhai Center models in various areas in Ghana, so that, you know, once they get trained, etc., they'll have a Songhai model on land in Ghana and in other places. But Ghana is the first places, you know, that's actually happening at. So we'll have a little bit of information for you about that later. All right, now I'm gonna try to play a clip. Yeah, any questions right here?
We good, Baba. We ready.
All right. My daughter ran over there to help me when I said I'm gonna try to play a clip. So the first clip I'm just gonna play is just to get you excited. It's just a little thing. It's a quick clip that I made during Kwanzaa last year that just shows kind of the Rebuild Africa, kind of the momentum, and you'll see some of Father in there. You'll see some of the concert and that kind of thing. Because when I was first asked by Baba Kuumba, he said, "Man, we got to say something positive about Africa." I'm like, "Man, listen, we love Africa. What you need? We got a million positive things about Africa." He says, I said, "Well, let me throw this clip on here." So this is gonna be my positive energy getter. Hopefully the sound will work. And then after we do that, I'm gonna show a few clips of the original rough documentary that we did of the Songhai Center. So let's see. Okay, so I want to do this one right here, but I got to do advanced. He said, "No."
Yeah, don't do the advance.
Hold
Just do the share, but just click on the share sound, share audio box.
Oh, snap. Okay, hold on. No, that's not it. See the share audio box. Okay. Now y'all gotta let me know if you hear sound. You see my screen, right?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, but we see your screen.
All right. Let me know if you hear something right here. Did y'all hear something?
No sound yet.
No, we didn't hear.
I didn't hear anything right there. That's what it is. Okay, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna do stop share real quick. We went through this and I mastered this the other day. So just do video right there. Okay, now how do I go back and find that again? Okay. Yeah, that's it. That's gonna work. Okay, you can see my screen again?
Yeah, bro.
Okay. Hold on. Let me just make sure I can go right here. Tell me if you can hear something. Did you hear that?
Yeah, bro.
We heard the drums.
All right, here we go. So this is from the Rebuild Africa trip. It's like the PSA, and it's kind of cool. And that was where we saw Father Nzamujo, and everybody there. Okay, here we go. Okay, how do I stop share? So stop share. All right, everybody saw that.
Yeah, bro. Very nice.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, so I didn't even mention that. One of the missions on that particular trip was delivering medical supplies and books and all kind of stuff. I mean, all kind of stuff to one of the hospitals in a number of places. But I think that was in Konya, in Ghana, West Africa, where we were delivering those items. And that's an overview just of the Rebuild Africa piece. I'm going to leave at some point, I guess in the link, we'll put, where people can kind of look up, and if they want to help support taking students from Ghana to Benin to the Songhai Center, I definitely want to make sure that I'll put that in the link or however I need to do that. Look at that on the clip as well, and everybody's in DC. You saw Diallo on there. 901, gotta say it right. It's 901.
901.
901. And we were so proud of him because he was being receiving his nanaship. Installed is the word. When we went, and it was a big event when we went from Benin. We went to Ghana. And we're at 901's event, and he's doing some amazing things out there. Just built the entire community center, and continuing to do trips and bringing people from the diaspora to Ghana, and working with the Ghanaian government. And and think about that. His mama was one of my teachers. His mama taught us. You all taught him. So just the fact that, I always say this to every time somebody goes to Africa, or especially starts building in Africa, and especially if you end up going to the Songhai Center, the fact that people in America were put on slave ships and brought to America with no concept of potentially going back home to where generations lived and died here and went through extreme torture, to come back after 400 years and then go back to Africa and to make it back there and be building. I mean, that's so magical to me and so amazing. And so I'm very proud of Not a One. My wife actually was even installed in the Nkonya region in Ghana, as well as Owa's daughter Ayana. I can't remember her installment name, but this is a lot of magic going on, and these are the kinds of things that because of the work of the ancestors and your work that we're able to do. Songhai is not just an amazing place to go to visit, but it's also a place to go to learn. Anybody here online can go and study in Songhai, can go and study these agricultural techniques, and we encourage you to do that. If you have students, there have been a lot of students that were wayward students in America that were involved in gangs, drugs, stuff like that. You know, once you get off that plane in Africa, you ain't going to be able to hit the corner no more. So, and then you wind up getting trained and learning things, and then these people have gone back to the communities in the United States and have just worked to change the communities. So it's something very important. Songhai is something that literally changes your mind, the way you act, the way you think. Father Godfrey Nzamujo is very serious, very precise, and expects and holds an extremely high level of expectation from people. And what he's building is absolutely amazing. It's genius level stuff. So to be in that environment and be around people like that definitely helps to cultivate people. All right, next I'm gonna show just the intro clip from everybody. Cool?
You go, Bob.
Good, Bob. And shout out to Sister Ayana Gregory. I saw her in the clip too.
Oh yeah, Ayana Gregory did her thing. She performed everywhere. We did the West African tour. That was my first West African tour. I mean, we performed in so many places in Ghana and then in Benin. We were doing radio every day. We were at the radio station. I was freestyling her. It was crazy. It was like, you know, who even knew this was going to happen like this? And it was a pleasure. She killed it every night. Malik killed it. I was all right.
You killed it too, Obi.
I was all right, but I was just happy to be around them. It was an amazing experience. But it was all to raise awareness for Rebuild Africa, which in turn raise awareness and financing for helping to send young people to Benin, to the Songhai Center, and also helping to develop Songhai Center models, replicas in Ghana. So let me get you guys. Okay, I'm about to share a screen. Now this next thing, I'll introduce it as I bring it up. I got my daughter, she's an expert. She got me. Yeah, right there. New before that's the right one. Yeah. You guys just gotta make it wide. Okay. Yeah, I gotta get it past that. Okay. Now this, thank God for I'm good. Thank God everybody can hear me, right? Mm-hmm. Thank God for Baba Kaumba and Baba Kalechi for helping to bring out this footage. This documentary was actually not the final documentary. We had a lot of technical problems with putting together the documentary just because of the equipment that was allotted to me at the time. So actually, Minikai Shepsu's my wife's voice was supposed to be on this documentary, on this version. So she's on some version, but it's a long story about how everything came off because we were editing it and working on this project together. But this will give you some insight into the nature of Father Godfrey Nzamujo and the nature and kind of the background of the Songhai Center. And I know I'm taking a long time, but then I'll show you a couple, as long as we cool, but then I'll show you a couple clips of what it is today. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah, bro, we good.
All right. We organic. We doing this organic, so you know.
And Brother Obi, let me tell you,
Yeah.
This video made me I was in Songhai like a year later. I had to go.
For real?
Seriously,
Wow.
I really
Well,
couldn't hold it up. I had to go.
that's
How
beautiful.
powerful it is.
You know what's so funny is that when we went there this last time and we saw Songhai in front of everybody, Father said, "Oh my God, Obi!" He said, "Yo, this brother did my first video." He said it that. He said, and you know, he said after that we've had tons of videos and people coming all over the place. But he said, man, you know, it just, and I said, man, that just like, it kind of hit me in the gut. Like, wow, these things you just doing, you trying to get them done. You know, you don't realize the impact. So, and then you think about how it translates into the people's lives that have been saved and communities and food that has been grown and just on a basic level. It's like, man, wow. I'm glad it inspired me. It blew my mind when I was there. So it's a kind of grainy, but go ahead, check it out. And, you know, audio is going to fluctuate a little bit, but it was us getting it down to get it done at the point. So go ahead.
Nestled in the southern region of Benin, West Africa, amidst a radically changing landscape from rural traditional agricultural-based society to urban technology-driven society, lies an oasis offering hope and prosperity for a country and continent struggling to realize its full potential, the SONGHAI Center.
SONGHAI is a social program. It is a program of a new African society where we develop new vision, new culture, and new value system. It is a social organization, committed people, repairing the heart of Africa that has been fried, that has been destroyed. So SONGHAI is also a place to rejuvenate renaissance of Africa.
The SONGHAI movement aims at raising the standard of living of Africans through its training programs, with particular attention to the social and economic development of rural peoples.
When you have strong culture, there's better economic performance today. When people get together, when people have the same goal, things happen. Like, you cannot win a football match if people are not well organized and motivated. People are demotivated, they lose the match. The same thing, we have to get a society that is motivated, that has the human resource and the proper value system to enter into the production sector. The economic sector will bring more resources, financial and material resources, to support our social movement, for us to hire more people, to send our people more to school, to do more research, and to develop new laboratories, and then train more people. Come and look at this. Every year, we develop new human capacity. That human capacity is going to help us to produce better. Because we produce better, we have more resources to support our social movement and go back and forth. So this is what is SONGHAI.
No feeding.
Is it?
No.
Nothing, that's natural like this. As I was telling you today, with this water now. With this water.
The SONGHAI movement was started in 1985 by Father Godfrey Nzamujo and a team of 6 young school dropouts on 2.5 acres of land.
So I started with the 4 dropouts from the high school. Here in this place here, we were sleeping in the huts here. Then we had no money. I loaded a container from California then. The container got lost. I had my equipment, the shovels, the hoes, my rototillers, all the farm implements that got lost. But what was on our side was our courage and our determination. And I wanted to share with those young people my vision of the future of Africa, that it depends on how much we have in our minds, in our hearts, and the level of our determination and commitment. And I told them that the solution is not in these big people, in the big capitals, but in the minds and hearts of young people who are ready to work.
Over the next 17 years, with hard work, determination, and assistance from various funding groups, SONGHAI would open new branches and facilities throughout Benin, create an array of new products and services to market to local consumers, and train hundreds of Africans to reproduce the SONGHAI model abroad.
In our economic sector, economic program, we work in an integrated system, and the 3 elements of that integrated production system is aquaculture, animal husbandry, and crop production. the waste from one sector becomes an input in another sector, and that way nothing is wasted. We call it Zero Emission Research Initiative. Imagine a triangle. On top of that triangle is the animal production. The waste from the animal production comes down to feed our fish in this level here. Imagine the fish is in the other side of the triangle. So the waste from the animals are used to produce maggot that feed our fish. And then the wastewater from the fish pond is used to irrigate our crops here in this section where we produce the vegetables and the grains here. And of course, the waste from the crops used again for the biogas or used to feed our fish. For example, the grains are used to feed our animals here, and the vegetables for animals. And then back again, the animals, the droppings are also used to make compost for the crops too. So you see, everything is integrated, everything. The waste from here becomes input in here, the waste from here becomes input in here, and there's something. And then of course, the products are also eaten by man, used for marketing.
The animal husbandry component of the Zero Emissions Research Initiative process, or ZERI, is practiced in all its forms, whether pigs, livestock, or the rearing of poultry and mammals. All these animals are fed by grazing and with feed produced entirely from local resources.
This is a delicacy in West Africa, wild, and people burn acres and acres of land to catch them. We've domesticated them now, and we're using what I told you outside to feed them. You cannot put them back. You see, ours is a demand-driven. We don't grow animals that people don't know, they don't like. And in Benin here, we have chicken, we have snails, we have cows in the other part. We have turkey, we have quails, agouti. So these are the animals that are, and have pigs, of course. These are the animals that are appreciated here, that have the market here, so we don't become exotic. We want to be introverted. We don't want to produce for other people. We started by saying that SONGHAI is a project where Africans look at themselves. We want to feed our people, first of all. So we look at the consumption pattern of the African people, and we grow animals or crops that, first of all, will service our people.
Fish farming benefits from the agricultural production sector in the sense that cassava roots and rice byproducts are used to feed the fish. Through animal husbandry, intestines and other parts of slaughtered animals attract houseflies to harvest maggots for fish food. Fish farming also provides rich water for irrigation.
The fish culture is a natural link between animals and the land. We pump water from the lowest part going over there in the tank, and by gravity the water is distributed in the ponds over there from one pond to another one. We harvest the maggots and we put them in the ponds. And now after every month the ponds are emptied. We either harvest the fish or we check how the fish are doing.
The water then enters a three-phase cleaning system where natural organisms, including water hyacinth, filter the water.
The filtered water will be pumped back, a part of it is pumped back to the water tank and is distributed. A part of the water is used to irrigate, as you saw today, because it is still very rich. We use them to irrigate. So those nutrients that are contained in the water bodies where the fish, if they are droppings, the waste feed that the fish didn't eat, and other things, those elements are channeled back into the fish, into the field, and they fertilize the fields for the crops there.
Crop production essentially comprises of vegetable farming and cultivation of food crops like maize, yams, soybean, rice, groundnuts, etc. to avoid using expensive chemical fertilizers, which easily destroy the soil. Compost is prepared from plant and animal waste. Soil fertilization of farmlands is generally done by applying organic manure. The SONGHAI process yields amazing results.
When I came here about 15, 16 years ago, this land couldn't produce anything. It is true. This natural fertilization, making compost from the waste, plant waste and animal waste, we've been able to regenerate our soil here. So we cut the leaves from mangoes, from papayas and bananas. We till them and turn them all over. We compost them to enrich our soil. So the vegetables we have here, like the lettuce, like the native vegetables, like we call them goma, we have the amaranthus. All these are native vegetables that we cultivate here. But the difference is that We do them organically. We use natural fertilizers. We don't use any chemical fertilizers here. We don't use any pesticides here. And to avoid using pesticides, we do what we call intercropping, integrated pest management. For example, if a pest is interested in papaya, and the next season we change, instead of papaya we do pineapples, the pest will die off, and then we're breaking their cycle. So this is how we've been able to check the pests here instead of employing chemicals to fight them.
Once fish, animal, vegetables, and fruits are produced, the next phase is food processing. The food processing unit adds value to animal, fish, and plant products to preserve them and ensure freshness. It also aims to achieve a profitable capacity by supplying natural products to the marketplace. This sector offers new economic opportunities to Benin and the rest of the West African sub-region. Quality products ensure profitability and will help to build a strong demand for the SONGHAI brand.
Okay, y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
So we can go on for days. It's like 10 more minutes or something like that. We're not gonna do that today. But I think just from that part, you get to see how the system, the level of integration that the SONGHAI model uses, and when it comes to replenishing land, how powerful that this system can actually be when it comes to replenishing the land. A lot of farmland gets depleted. A lot of the natural minerals and stuff get depleted, but his system, it totally, through natural means, through no chemical use, is totally replenishing. And he just leans on nature, the natural flow of nature, in order to do this amazing stuff. Any questions right there? Okay. At this point, and this listen, Baba Kalechi and everybody, I was able to take the clip today and transfer it over from the old clip that was almost impossible to transfer and make a new clip. So I'm glad about that, because this information is still very good and still very, kind of amazing. How we doing on time?
We good. We good, Bob.
Okay. So now I want to let me just make a couple quick points about it as well. The SONGHAI Center, is that in my? Did they see that? No. Okay. The SONGHAI Center, because of the different farms and stuff that they've created, because of the years and years, and you think that documentary we shot that. I don't know if it's 2024 now. It had to be 2020. It had to be 2000 or it had to be 2001 or something right there. So, and at that point, it had already been in existence for about 17 years, right? So in that time, they have a lot of different really cool stuff. Like they have an alumni network called the National Network of SONGHAI Farmers that have annual retreats and conferences back at the SONGHAI Center. And they're not just in Benin, they're all over Africa. And they're not just in the African countries that they've set up SONGHAI centers. They're in African countries where they just were able to bring in students. Father Nzamudro, at one point in time, I don't know if he still has it, he had a whole compound in Benin just for refugees that were trying to escape nearby countries and other African countries and had nowhere to go. That he would, that he looked over and tried to make sure they were okay. And then a lot of them he trained in the SONGHAI farming system. So he's doing real serious work. So now, can you imagine all over Africa right now, because of the national network of SONGHAI farmers, the SONGHAI model is being duplicated. He's also going a lot into what he calls the SONGHAI Energy Project, where, you see the biogas. I don't know if you guys saw the containers where they take the energy and they put them into containers. Those containers are now right. Yeah, the cannons, they're being used to cook food. They take the gas from those containers, and that's gas that's been converted from the byproduct of of crops and the byproduct of animal feces, of all kinds of different byproducts. They take that gas and use it to cook food. They take that gas and use it to in any kind of way that's possibly imaginable. They also have solar paneling project that they're working on, because what they are going to be doing is in a lot of rural areas, they're going to be using this biogas and also solar panel. They're going to be incorporating those types of things as they expand the Songhai model all over the place throughout Africa. One of the things we didn't get to on that documentary yet is the machinery. In order to take the food, the fish, the animals, after you cut it down, cut the plant or whatever, you got to process it and turn it from mangoes into mango juice, or from soy, they got soy, into soy milk or whatever, what have you. So they have machinery that does that. They have machinery that they use in the field, and all of that machinery, mostly all of the machinery, is machinery that they have actually created at Songhai themselves. So what that means is they take scrap metal from all over from the street, and old machines, old pieces of buildings and stuff, and it's absolutely ingenious. And they take that machinery and they create it from scratch. They paint it, give it the Songhai logo, and now they're processing soybeans, or they're processing meat or whatever through their own machinery that they created. They have a technology center on the different campuses where people can come. People come from all over Porto Novo just to get on the computers, to send emails. Sometimes the Wi-Fi connection is crazy in certain places, but not there. You can get on there and do all that kind of work. They have the process where they get the food to the community to sell in different markets. You go to a lot of these, I don't know if for those that have been to the markets in Ghana and Benin, you get in those markets and you're like, man, everything in here is from Europe. It's like these cookies in the packages, and all of them got European brands or American brands, Sprite and all that kind of stuff. But now they're taking their brands and they're starting to distribute them out all over, so they're consumed by the African folks that's making them. And so that's very important. If you go to the location, if you go to the restaurant, you're gonna eat like delicacies at the restaurant. Good, really good food, really fresh food that they're gonna process and make and cook right there. Like, you're talking about farm fresh. I mean, it's farm fresh. It's being done right there. So you have that's a whole nother process in the Songhai Center. So there are a lot of different processes, and we'll talk a little bit about the website at the very end, and we'll show some of that. Right now, I'm gonna show you a couple clips of the last trip to Songhai Center when we were doing the Rebuild Africa event. And I got my assistant, my daughter, over here helping me. All right, so we're gonna do video. Okay. But we gotta go to that drive right there. It's on the drive. Oh, here it is. All right, go down. Go all the way down, keep going. It's gonna say Songhai. Yeah, Songhai specific. Okay. All right, let's just click in here. Yeah. Yeah, and then this will be my mainstay drive for a little while. Okay. All right. So I was on to it. So this is just, everybody can hear me, right?
Yeah. Oh.
All right. This is just some footage of, and so from this point on, the clips that I'm going to show you are not expertly edited together. These are, imagine yourself in Africa with your camcorder, or imagine you back at home trying to look at your camcorder footage that you took in Africa. So I might move through them a little bit, stop it, and go forward just to describe what's going on. Is that okay?
Sounds good, Bob.
Okay. So this first clip is we're just in the restaurant at Songhai. We have the Rebuild Africa tour and group of people from Canada, the United States. Some of them are on the Osiris Society, some of them are not. And you see people that are working at the restaurants, you see students, there are always students around, etc. And we just, if it gets a little noisy, don't worry about it. adjust your audio.
Living in Ghana. As of last week. As of last week, right, yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Linford Grant from Atlanta, Georgia, relocated.
I'm Chad Menry on Cat, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Good morning. My auntie Minwas on Cat, Philadelphia.
Do I got to stand?
Lakeisha Beasley from Maryland. Ayana Gregory from Washington, D.C. I'm Maxine from Ghana.
I'm Mayanua White from DC.
Erica Franklin from Toronto.
Charmaine Marston from Toronto. Chantel from Toronto.
Shakman Sabu from New York, Brooklyn.
Mother Akulu, everybody calls me Nana, from Ghana.
Watson Joshua, Washington, D.C., Osiris Sex Society, everywhere.
Or why him on camera, Washington, D.C. Okay. Anyone hear me? No. People who want me to speak. I've had a very fortunate life. Anyone, you can hear me? Can you? Everybody hear him? Yes. Okay. I've been able to walk in the wake of genius. I'm not joking. No. First genius I ever met was Dick Gregory. That's his daughter right there. So Ayana Gregory, Dick Gregory. Yeah. Second genius I ever met was Sharon Third genius I met was this man right here. Godfrey and Zamujo. I met him in 2000 years ago. 2000 years ago. He's the brainchild of this place here, and what you about 20-something countries here. And 20-something countries in Africa that you don't see. You will see in Ghana soon. We first met in 2000. I brought a group here in 2000. Some of this is about the same size as group. We got stranded along, the borders along. Same way we just truck out. Can you hear me?
No.
Long story. Anyway, we'll tell the story. We got here, I said, I've been coming to Ghana since 1985. That's a long time. I got here in this place. I saw this as a solution to problems.
All right. So I don't know if you heard what he said. He said that he's had a blessed life, met a lot of geniuses in his life. He said his first genius that he met was Dick Gregory, Ayana Gregory's daughter. He said the second genius that he met was Shechem Brown Nephi Men, the king of Osiris Society. He said the third genius was his father Godfrey and Zamujo. And he said when he came there, he's been coming to Africa for a long time, but when he came there in 2000, he said, oh my God, this is the solution for what's going to change and uplift Africa. The Songhai Center totally blew his mind. And I'm going to go to the next clip. Sorry, next clip. Y'all still with me, right? I'm keeping y'all engaged.
We're with you.
Yeah, bo.
Okay, good. Okay. Oh, just press open. All right. It's different when it's not edited, but the footage looks so good. I hadn't seen it until Baba Kuuma asked me to go down it, which I'm glad because it looks better. It was really bright. I was using somebody else's camera. I didn't really know what I was doing, so it was like going in and out. But it looks colorful. It looks good. I'm like, all right. It's beautiful. So he's just starting to give us like a kind of a quick tour.
Josephine, what about you? Esther. Good morning. Bright. Oh, everybody's bright. There's supposed to be 5. Sister. Everybody start coming over in this direction. Join us. You know you're hungry, but just hold it afterwards. I want to do 2 close. Okay. We start here. Okay. Please, everybody.
Everybody get close so you guys don't have to yell too loud.
Really, this is going to be the center of this visit.
Okay, next clip. Okay. We're getting it together. What was it at? Yeah, right here. He said some profound stuff, so I want to make sure y'all hear some of this stuff.
We spend some time, you ask some questions, if need be, about what you're doing. Well, once again, thank you so much for coming. I know it's been very, very tough, long distance. So, but unfortunately, you have to jump into the work now. So now, when you come here, brothers and sisters, we want this to talk. SONGHAI is not an agricultural project. It's a project of a new African society. Clearly, a new vision of what Africa should be, what the world should be. SONGHAI is Africa talking instead of dancing other people's dance. SONGHAI is telling Africans, diaspora everywhere, it's time to grow up. Yes. Instead of turning us like this and following other people. The SONGHAI is that project here telling Africans it's time to grow up. Be on the driver's seat and do what you want to do. So this is the meaning of SONGHAI. If you look at it, this is the three sectors of the economy is here. Primary production, which is agriculture. Secondary production, which is agro-industry.
Okay. All right. We're going to move through. Everybody heard that? It's clear. All right. Tell me about my time. I'm good. Am I okay?
Pretty good. We're going to bring Brother Maurice on as soon as possible.
All right, just tell me when. Give me.
All right, maybe 15
at the most.
Yeah,
we'll do 10. We'll do 10. Okay.
Okay.
I know I've been keeping. I don't want to take everything, but go ahead. Yeah.
People to know, Africa was there. So SONGHAI is not a return to Asian thing, it's a recourse to those forces that made SONGHAI great, not making America great again. That's what I hear you. I hear you. So this is the real making Africa great. So this is what we are doing today, telling young Africans it's time to start on the. So what you see here now is primary production, which is agriculture, crop, animal and fish, all integrated. No separation at all. From there, we go to the secondary agro-industry, tertiary service. But the heart of SONGHAI is human beings. You, myself. But what type of human being? There are human beings that are totally retooled. Those who have what they call the head, new sciences, the hand, practicalizing it, not just blah, blah, blah. Third, but heart, people who have a vision of the world. Who am I? And what am I here for? So that's why you call it a project. This is what it's like. Formation, technology, all of them here again. In a project like this, brothers and sisters, money is important, but it's far from being the most important. Even land is important, it's far from being the most important. The most important is human being. You, myself. Not any type of human being, but a human being that is retooled, who knows who he or she is, and who is ready to unleash everything to stand up. That's why Africa, because when Africa stands up, in French, comme l'Afrique relève la tête. When Africa stands up and starts bellying, the whole world will be shaking. So this, we took this place, brothers and sisters, was dead. It couldn't grow anything, even wheat. But now it's the most productive piece of land in Africa. By far, we produce all year round, producing more and better with less. Conventional agriculture produces less with more and worse products. We produce more and better with less because we are capable of unleashing the environmental capital of the world and harnessing it. Before I finish here, we want to redefine poverty. Poverty is not when you don't have dollar in your pocket. Poverty is our incapacity to see the possibilities that exist around us. The first. Secondly, poverty is our incapacity to harness them, to create goods and services that correspond to our needs and desires. So as Songhai, we are reversing it. The only way to fight poverty is make the poor person productive, not to give him money. That's what happened to our brothers and sisters in America. We gave them Mercedes-Benz and Cadillac and they think they made it. No. No. Not at all. It is here. When it's here, nobody's going to take it away from you. So this is what we are saying here. We are singing this African Renaissance. So Songhai is a laboratory for African Renaissance. That's what you're going to see. As I told you, so please come over here. The takeoff place. These are African projects, African society project. But
all right. He nailed it right there. Yeah, I'm gonna do one more thing. Let me see. You know what? I don't think so. No, I'm not going to. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show the website. This one. Can you? Okay. All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, go, Baba.
All right. I can't. I had some more clips from there, but that was from 2022. Rebuild Africa movement tour. But I think he ended it perfect when he was talking about poverty. He was talking about the kind of heart and mind that it takes, and what they're really building is a heart and mind and attitude and a perspective towards uplifting your community, uplifting yourself, the work that it takes, the work ethic. I didn't mention Songhai also creates his own books that show you, and they're in French and English because, as we know, Benin is a French-speaking country. That's the dominant language. And so they have resources in French and English. This website, which is the Songhai website, if you Google Songhai Center, or was it Songhai Regional Center, they'll come up with the website, and if you see up here in the corner, it says English and it says French, so you can see it in English and French. But this site is something you can go to for more information, for contact information, for the breakdown and how the process works. Also stuff on classes. If you're interested in going to Songhai, this is a great way to go. Like if you got to go on an individual basis to Songhai in West Africa, but you can also tap into some of the programs that OMOWOLE is doing, especially if you're in the DC area, because he goes to Songhai annually, and we're constantly working on the Songhai project. Get this right here. They do, like I said, they do books that show you how. They do books specifically for animal husbandry, books specifically for machine making, books specifically for growing various kinds of crops. You can go in this store and, like I said, you'd be like, man, I want some soy milk. Boom, Songhai got soy milk. Man, I want some mango juice. Boom, Songhai got mango juice. I mean, you name it. If you can eat it and it's good, they got it. Of course, they got stuff for vegetarians. They got stuff for meat eaters. And like he said, they really focus on feeding the local environment for whatever market that they're in Africa. Here you see there's a history. You see the vision. Let's just read that real quick. Songhai is an institution that exists to contribute to the development of Africa through the creation of green rural communities, a viable socio-economic development all over the continent, with the practice of integrated agriculture that produce organically, respect nature, and is essentially based on biomimicry. No chemicals. We dance. He always says this, no chemicals. We dance with nature. We study how it works and have aligned with it because we believe in sustainable agriculture that is profitable and also competitive. So with that, and I'm going to do just the Rebuild Africa piece up here. So please take that down. However, we need to, I'm going to do one more share, and then that'll be it of the other website. It's the one. It was on the same thing as this one. Go. Yeah, that right there. There it is. Did it come up yet? You gotta close this one down or something. Okay. Yeah. And this is the website that just shows, and I'll send you a link, Kalechi, just so people that are interested in getting involved in the Rebuild Africa project, where we're sending young people to Songhai to study and come back to Ghana, and also building Songhai centers in Ghana. This is one where you can find out about that for the Rebuild Africa, and it's basically the Songhai scholarship program. But those are two websites that kind of break it down. The first one is everything Songhai, and this one is about the Rebuild Africa project. Other than that, I just want to say I encourage everybody to take the opportunity to go to Songhai. When you go to Africa, I know a lot of people are in villages. They're doing spiritual work, priesthood work. They want to give back. They go to Africa and Ghana and they say, hey man, I want to build a house. Or they go to Nigeria and they say, I want to build a house. Or they go to Kenya and they want to build a house. Or they want to integrate, and it's an exciting time, and it's a time full of possibilities, and people are wanting to invest and thinking about ways to live in Africa, thinking about ways some people think about ways to capitalize off Africa, sometimes not in the positive way. But wherever you are in Africa, in this tropical environment, trust me, this Songhai model, think about how you can incorporate this model where you go. I'm sure there are young people, there's an epidemic of people leaving the rural areas, going to the city for jobs. And we need food. We don't need to be buying rice from Europe. We don't need to be buying all this stuff from China and all that kind of stuff when we can produce it ourselves in Africa. So when you're in the village and you're thinking about setting up your house or your compound, you get excited, man, we're going to set up a compound, I'm going to buy an island somewhere. Think about, well, how can we incorporate some of these tools? Because I know people that are, they're in communities, they're getting installed, they're doing these kinds of things. But long-term sustainability that's natural, that actually heals the earth, and that yields incredible results over time, that's natural and good for you. And you see, he told you this was the worst land in Benin. Now it's the best land in Africa, just because of him utilizing these techniques. This is the kind of stuff that's going to help Africa, help uplift us all, and create Africa to be the kind of place that our children and our grandchildren's children can go back to live, prosper, and thrive. Thank you. I know this was long-winded, longer than I thought.
Thank you, Brother Obi. That was,
Amen.
That was great. And I will say one thing. When you're in Songhai, you meet so many people from so many different places. There are a lot of universities on the continent, and specifically there are a lot of universities in Nigeria. There's a lot of universities, different cities, different parts, but very few of them are able to offer the practical application of the knowledge. So what ends up happening is you have a lot of students from all over the continent who come to Songhai. They have bachelor's degree, master's degree, some of them got PhDs, but they don't have the practical knowledge, practical application. And they're, after finishing their program, they come to Songhai. You see buses with different university names all over the place because they come to Songhai and they spend their time to actually put into practice what they learn on paper. So the resource is just boundless, and we appreciate you, you bringing this bringing it to us, and you got to go to Songhai. It's just that simple. I mean, you just got to go. I'm actually organizing a trip, not a plug, but a trip that might end up going to Songhai next year. So if anybody's interested, you can reach out to me. It's a Nigeria trip with a possible extension to Benin, which of course you go to Benin, you gotta go to Songhai. But yeah, so you know, it's and Brother Obi, I do have a question. I don't know if anybody has a question, they can put your question in the chat. If you want to speak a question, you can. But what about in terms of the youth? I understand the program about bringing the youth, and I guess in this case from Ghana primarily to Songhai, and it's definitely a good thing. I'm wondering if there's maybe something on the horizon, thoughts about maybe bringing youth from a diaspora, maybe U.S., maybe D.C. area to Songhai. Is there any thoughts of doing something along those lines?
Well, I know back in the day when they had KEMA, the school Kemetic Institute of Magnificent Achievers, right? Excuse me? No, go ahead. They brought a bunch of youth there from the school, and those children, those young people, they were high school students. Well, minds were blown. So they always bring in youth there. I know, and they always bring in youth groups from the States, various independent people, individuals and stuff, send their, like I said, one of the stories I was telling you that, I know people send their children. I wanted to send my two oldest ones, and I'm still going to send them, even no matter how old they get, they're going to go there and just live off the land for like 3 months. No, we're going to lock their iPhone up and just get them on the land, because Father ain't playing that. He's not playing that. But there needs to be more larger scale projects like that where we get youth over there. That would be it's absolutely important to do. Yeah, you from the diaspora, from the States.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much, brother Obi, and thank you for Mom, Sister Dominica and the whole family, and all the work that you all do in the community in general. Thank you for answering the call. And let me see if we have a question. Okay, my photo says, "Thank you for the great info on Songhai." It said, "Is there market local people?" Mama, maybe you can let me let her unmute. I don't understand the question. Is there market local people? Maybe she can.
I know they focus on feeding and providing for the local market right where they are in Benin, or wherever their locale is for whatever Songhai Center is. So that goes into what the local people expect, the foods that they expect to eat, etc.
Gotcha.
I know they're looking to expand, and they may be in different.
Well, they actually are already exporting they're exporting products. They're definitely focused on Benin, but they are exporting products outside of Benin. Benin is a big country, not just around Porto Novo. Right. So there is an industrial Songhai site, which is several miles away from the main site, of this educational site, where they have more industrial production. And they have tractor trailer loads of products leaving from there. And there's a whole community of producers. They have stores all over Benin who only basically most of their products come from Songhai. They just come with their trucks and whatever and buy the different things, the baked goods, the juices, the vegetables, whatever, and sell it. So it is focused locally in each region, but this particular one definitely, produces products, that are distributed outside. It's at some point. I know Asal Set at Simbab has some products from Songhai. They still do. So there is some international exportation, but primarily it's about feeding Africa. So here, near and far regions of Africa are being impacted, and in many instances can get products from there, but it is primarily focused on the local stuff. But it does get sent out, especially from the industrial site. Literally tractor trailer loads of stuff going on today.
Kalechi, I got a question too before we close on this segment, please.
Yo.
Okay, Obi, Did you say that they selling books on some of the things that they're doing, and
Yeah.
and you can go on the website and navigate the books?
I know if you're in there in person, you can go, you can get the books. I see on this website, I just noticed it that it said books, so I gotta check that out. Go to the website and we'll check that out if you can buy some of the books online. I don't know right now. I know they have a lot of serious manuals and stuff like that.
Okay, I'll check. The last question: have they grown beyond the 2.5 acres that he purchased when he first started, or is it just?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean that whole area is his. I don't know if on that area itself, that first area, that's where you saw the restaurant, if it got bigger. But even when I was there, I mean, we went to like the northern part of Benin and they had farm. I don't even know how big farm was, this expansion with cows and just land.
Okay.
So they have a lot of different locations in Benin, but and when I was there at the time, and I think they had a problem in Nigeria, the Nigerian government was there, about to take the process to Nigeria. And they did take it to Nigeria at that point, but I think they need to reestablish what was going on in Nigeria. So right now they're in over 20 different locations throughout Africa. So the model has grown dramatically, and it's going to keep growing.
Yeah, but and even the original site is several hectares big at this point, because not only is there a farm, there's a hotel. It's way expanded. Even that first site, it's like almost as far as you can see.
Good, man. Good news.
Yeah.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother Obi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I
apologize for going. I didn't even realize it was.
It was worth it. I mean, ain't nobody complaining. It was worth it. I mean, we definitely appreciate it. And this is beautiful stuff and beautiful work. And when you put everything together for the next documentary, we definitely want to see it. And I would love to be able to share that little promo. I don't know if it's ready for distribution. Little promo you did for the for the trip and the the footage. Yeah, if we had that ready, we can put that out there as well.
Yeah, it's ready. It's ready. All right.
Yeah, bro. Thank you so much. So we got brother Maurice with us. Brother Maurice, you still with us, right? I know you were excited about everything you're seeing and seeing and hearing from Brother Obi.
Without a doubt, as you know, I shared with you, Brother Kalachi. I used to live in Benin. I lived in Benin for a number of years, and in addition to being up in Ouida and Gonaïve, the folks amazing people living on the water, SONGHAI was what struck me along with those, in terms. And this was a long time ago. This is I can date myself at least 3 decades ago or so. I was in Benin, and always appreciated for his Zamajo and the work that he's doing there. And for it's kind of for me, right, to see this remarkable model for the continent, and how it is that not more heads of state have embraced it and made it national agricultural policy for their country.
Yes.
The African Union that has not taken it up and saying this is the model for food security on the African continent. What it says to me is the level of political work that needs to be done.
Right. It's not for lack of trying.
I know that's the point. That's the point. That's the point. He you just watch that film, and if you were about African liberation and you're the head of a state, you're like, I'll get me that man, bring him in here. I want him to set up the model in my country. I want him to be hold workshops for our agricultural department in our government, right? So it's his work and the model that he's laid out is remarkable, but it's also an indictment on the neo-colonial leaders that are in the African continent, that it hasn't been as widespread as it ought to be. You can't visit Songhai and not come away saying that, hey, we need to do this for our people, right? So just incredible work. I've already shared it with some of the folks in the Congo that are in the agricultural sector, doing ancestral ecology work. We have brothers and sisters in the rainforest in Isangi, have similar principles. They're not as sophisticated as Frère Jean-Major's operation, but the notion, they have this code of ethic called Basanja. And Basanja is an ethic of how human beings live in harmony and balance with nature, for both humans and nature to be sustainable. Harmony and balance with all living things.
Wow.
The work certainly needs to be done at the organizing level to put in place eventually, leaders that are going to readily recognize, not only recognize the value of such African brilliance, but put the resources of the state behind it so that it can be scaled in a way that can meet the needs of the 1.3 billion people that we have on the African continent.
Absolutely.
And models like those.
And not just recognize, because I'm pretty sure they recognize it for what it is. They're unwilling to allow it to exist. Them and their backers.
I remember, I think it was in Malawi, when when one of the president came up with a model to make Malawi self-sufficient. The World Bank wasn't in agreement with the model because the president was subsidizing the farmers. So the World Bank withdrew its money.
No, he didn't.
The World Bank withdrew its money. It's like, nah, you can't do that. We need you to produce crops that we can sell to the market. And the Malawians went ahead anyways. And what wound up happening was that they went from food insecure to food secure, where they were exporting food. So the superstructure that's in place is the enemy of Frère Jean-Major. Make no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Progress in Africa.
If you have progress in Africa, if you have Africans feeding themselves, if you have Africans believing that they can feed themselves and own, then that's it. As Dr. Clark shared with us so many times, that without the plunder of Africa, Europe wouldn't be what it is, today. Make no mistake about it. So there's no reason for Europe to want to give up its stranglehold on the continent. So that political work needs to be done, and that's the work that we're doing in the Congo and elsewhere. That's what we're excited about. What's happening.
Let me give you a proper introduction. I'm gonna unleash you to the world.
He's rolling already.
Right. For folks who know who this wonderful brother is, Brother Maurice is a.
Let me do that, Bob.
Okay, all right, you got it, Bob.
Yeah, let me do that. Because he's been most generous in coming out tonight and sharing his information. He's worked with many of us in this community and throughout this country and throughout the world, really. So he's a remarkable brother. And we're indeed privileged to have him with us tonight. Brother Maurice CARNEY is one of the co-founders of Friends of the Congo and currently serves as the organization's executive director. He has pursued a Pan-African solidarity mission for the past 25 years to build a global constituency in support of the Congolese people as they strive to fulfill Patrice Lumumba's vision of a free and liberated Congo. His educational professional background focused on Black and African politics, having attended Grambling State University here in this country, University of Akron, and Howard University, and worked with the Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies, Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, and Reverend Jesse Jackson's Rainbow Push Coalition. So we've invited him here tonight to talk about the Congo and other countries in that area that have been impacted by colonial settlism, settlism, and also European intrusion into Africa. So we now want to bring on Brother Maurice CARNEY.
Thank you, Brother Rasifik. Thank you
Yes,
for inviting Friends of the Congo and having me be the representative for this discussion. And I was super excited to see the presentation on SONGHAI because I'm just believe it's just a model, that type of model that's needed to advance us toward a free, sovereign, and liberated Africa. I hope somehow, some way that brothers that are taking over Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traore, Mali, Hassim Goita, Niger, the council that's taken over there, that they can be present to this work that's happening in Benin, and embrace it as a model that is at the center of their union. What we see happening in West Africa, even though I mentioned the leaders, it's a product of deep organizing, political education among the masses throughout West Africa, where you have a critical mass now that's saying that we want Africa for the Africans. Saying what Garvey laid out for us. It's saying like what Martin Delaney, even before Garvey, called for Africa for the Africans. And we saw the embers of this early on when the young people in Burkina Faso chased Blaise Compaoré, the assassin of Thomas Sankara, in 2014. He was the head Negro in charge for France and the United States. And young people with the mamas in the markets and rural folks chased him out of power. He was in power for 57 years, right? They say, we're through with you. So when we look at Ibrahim Traore today, or we look at Hassim Goita, we see the roots are with the people, particularly the youth, who are, saying, France dégage, France get out, right? We have uranium here, but we don't have electricity. That doesn't make sense. And this, we saw it in Senegal, in Burkina Faso, it was a youth with Ballet Citoyen, Citizens Broom. We saw in Senegal as well when the Abdoulaye Wade wanted to stay in power. The young people rose up, Jan Mars, said, we're fed up. And they blocked him from staying in power. We saw it this year, when Brother Sonko was jailed and said you couldn't run for president. Macky Sall said we're going to postpone the elections, right? The people were in the streets, right? And now we have our Brother Faye, who's in power and declares that he's a Pan-Africanist. So that's all coming from the bottom up, and and I'm not just saying this. The United Nations UN Development Fund did a study. They surveyed about 5,000 people throughout West Africa, and what came out of it is or what they drew from it was that the people are at a certain level of consciousness where they're like, we have wealth, but we're poor. We want to change that, right? Resources are going out to Europe. We want to change that. And if there are leaders in place who are supporting that old system, then we need to get rid of them. So at the base of the changes that we're seeing at the leadership level are people who have been organizing for decades. So that's a very hopeful model for the future of the continent. And then you have the Burkina Faso and Mali and Niger forming a Pan-African Union and saying we're bolting from ECOWAS, right? The Economic Community of West African States, because ECOWAS is beholden to France, beholden to the United States, and we need a new formation that's beholden to the, to the people. So with that unfolding in West Africa, where expectation is that that would also reverberate throughout the continent. I recall in 2015, where we worked with the young people in the Congo to connect with the youth who had overthrown Blaise Compaoré in Burkina Faso, and to work with the youth who had blocked Abdoulaye Wade in Senegal. And they came to the Congo, and it frightened the government. The government didn't really give it a chance. They shut it down right away. They smashed the press conference that the youth were having. They jailed everyone that they could catch, the youth from Burkina Faso, the youth from Senegal, Congolese youth. Others had to flee the country and go into exile. So the government was fearful of the youth, that they didn't want what happened in Burkina Faso and in Senegal to happen in the heart of the African continent, which is, as I've shared on this platform so many times, that Congo is central to moving the continent as a whole forward. And not that I came up with that, or Friends of the Congo came up with that, but Nkrumah laid it out in his book, The Challenge of the Congo, that he wrote. He wrote some 14 books or so, and that was the one book that he wrote on a particular country. And the reason why he wrote that book on a particular country is he saw Congo as central to his Pan-African project of the United States of Africa. Not only central, but it would actually serve as the capital. It would actually serve as the industrial engine for the advancement of the continent, as Sheikh Anta Diop lays out in his small book. I think it's the Federated States of Africa. So the Congo is just so central. Unfortunately, right now, at least since the assassination of Lumumba, it's been captured by the United States and folks that they put their stamp on to lead that country, to the point where folks are not fully present to the centrality of Congo, not only to Africa, but to the world as at large. It wasn't only Nkrumah that recognized Congo's centrality. We saw even Che Guevara went to the Congo in '65. In his diaries, he said, came to the Congo because this is the front lines in the battle against colonialism. He said the extent to which Congo will be successful is the same extent to which Africa will be successful. The extent to which Congo will fail is the same extent to which Africa will fail. And he said, at the time, he said, the leaders that we have now, we see in the Congo, in my observation, says Che, that if these leaders rise to power, not only Congo, but Africa will be colonized for another 100 years. And some of those leaders did rise to power, and Che's words were repressive. But he wasn't the only revolutionary to recognize the centrality of Congo. We had a Martinican brother, Frantz Fanon, who wrote in his book Toward African Revolution that the fate of all of us is at stake in the Congo. And his words are so much on point, because we see today where the world is dependent on Congo. Two major industries and major phenomena are dependent on what happens in the Congo. One is the climate crisis, which folks are combating, and the Congo Basin, which the Congo occupies over 60% of, is just indispensable in combating the climate crisis. It is crucial, considering that although it is referred to as the second lung of the world behind the Amazon, the Congo Basin sequesters more carbon than all of the tropical rainforests combined. So it's the #1 rainforest in the world as it relates to combating the climate crisis. But we're not fully present to it, either as Pan-Africanists, the general public, not aware of that centrality. And how critical that is. And by the same token, as we transition to the green energy sector, the clean energy sector with our electric vehicles and all, Congo looms large. Congo, again, is indispensable to the green energy transition. With all the bills being passed in Congress, the latest, the Inflation Reduction Act, that speaks to the green energy transition. Green energy transition is built on critical minerals that are vital for electrification, electric vehicles, the whole clean energy sector. And in order for you to have this transition, you need rechargeable batteries. You know, there's no electric vehicle without a rechargeable battery. An essential ingredient in rechargeable batteries is a mineral called cobalt. And Congo produces 70% of the world's cobalt. So if you add up all the countries in the world that produce cobalt, they don't equal what Congo produces. So the climate crisis on the one hand and green energy transition on the other, we see the heart of the African continent being central. And that's not unusual for us because as we know, we go historically that since the encroachment of Europeans and the trafficking of Africans in the early 1500s, half of the Africans that were trafficked to the Americas came out of the Congo region, the Central Africa region, out of the heart of the African continent. Precisely, Emory University database says 4 out of 10. If you go to their website, you see slave voyages, slavevoyages.org. They show you these maps where we were trafficked from the continent into the Americas, and the heart of the continent was the primary source for Africans that would fuel the development of Western capitalism. And then by the same token, we see when Europeans established their spheres of influence on the continent in the wake of the trafficking of Africans in the Berlin Conference, also called the Congo Conference, we see Congo looming large again, to the point where Europe, they didn't give it to any one nation at the time. They turned it over to the king and called it the Congo Free State so European powers could have free access to what's unfolding there. And the extraction of that rubber out of the Congo was indispensable for the auto and bicycle industry at the dawn of the 21st or the 20th century. So from the trafficking of Africans, the extraction of rubber, usage of uranium for the atomic weapons that were dropped in Japan, we see Congo's centrality in when it comes to technological advances, when it comes to the advancement of capitalism in the West. So unfortunately, it is because of that centrality why the United States mounted the largest covert action in the world in the 1960s to overthrow Patrice Emery Lumumba. And they didn't give him much time. Within a matter of days of where he was inaugurated, the CIA started their works of machinations against him to the point where he was overthrown within a couple of weeks, with a few weeks, and then ultimately assassinated in less than 7 months. And the Congo hasn't received a break. The United States has been engaged since that point, and the challenge now remains for Congolese to organize in a way that can free themselves, for Africans to be in solidarity, just like Fanon was in solidarity, just like Nkrumah was in solidarity, just like Ahmed Sékou Touré was in solidarity, just like Félix Moumié was in solidarity, for folks to be in solidarity to come to the side of the heart of the African continent so that it can be protected, finally handed over to Congolese so that we can advance not only the Congo, but the continent as a whole. So that's the work that continues, that we're doing with folks on the ground in the Congo. I know of recent times, Congo has been getting more attention. We see the Morehouse professors holding up the Congolese flag behind Joe Biden when he was at Morehouse speaking last week. We see folks, more and more people saying, what about the Congo? We should be talking more about the Congo. And we do see that. We see more talk about the Congo than we've seen today, than we've seen in the past 25 years. So it's an opportunity to highlight, shine a light on the work that's being done on the ground. Folks, I mentioned to you, we brought our brother Samuel Yagasi, from the indigenous leader, to the community, United Black community in I think, gosh, it must be over 5, 6, 7 years now. It's been a while. So we're going to bring him back. We're going to bring him back this September and October. So we'll be looking to ground with the community in DC and a number of other cities throughout the country. And Brother Samuel, his self-sufficiency project in the rainforest. We'll be bringing back another brother who's doing remarkable work with tapping into the ancestral knowledge of the Mbuti people, the so-called the Twa people, the so-called Pygmy, and their knowledge of plant life, knowledge of soil management, the whole bit. And they're building farms, independent farms in the east of the Congo, right in the middle of the conflict, drawing on that ancestral knowledge that they are transmitting to the younger generation. The same thing is happening in the west of the country with young girls who are being taught the ancestral knowledge around the resources that are right there for them to draw on to support their self-sufficiency. We were talking with them. They're being guided by an elder Congolese sister. She's a biochemist and physicist, and she was sharing with us the different plants that are grown naturally and fruits that are grown naturally, and how they're teaching the young girls how to identify them and use them to heal themselves. And she just and she gave an example. She's like, right here around Kinshasa, papayas are growing like crazy. They just grow naturally and wild. So we teach them how to use the papaya for a whole host of things, products. And one of the things we teach them how the papaya is a natural cure of stomach ache, right? The papaya will knock out your stomach ache in a second. So, she was just sharing with us, the work that's being done. So my daughter was like, she's just going to bed every night and she's complaining of her stomach and she's having stomach aches. So I just started feeding her papaya. And before you know it, no more complaints. So whenever I get stomach ache now, I just run to the papaya. So that's just one example of what's being taught to the young people, right? So that they can retain the ancestral knowledge that's right there on the ground, on the continent, that we can use in a very practical way. Kelechi, you're talking about the students that go to university and they go to SONGHAI for the practical application. In addition to SONGHAI is our indigenous leaders, communities, right? The mamas and the babas in the community who have had the knowledge passed down to them from generation to generation. So that's some of the work that's being done where we're trying to get the young people to capture that knowledge and continue it in a very practical way. Knowledge that comes out of the land. Father Zamajo talked about how you have to have the will. The person is so central, and to have that will to believe that we can be masters of our own destiny, right? So that's really the central work that needs to be done. So we don't have, a lot of young people, they look to Europe, they look to the United States, and what we're saying is no, look to the ancestors, look to the elders, look to the indigenous people, the Twa and the Mbuti, and they have a reservoir, really basically a university, a natural university of information and knowledge and wisdom that you can draw from in order to contribute to the liberation path that we're on. And so we're doing a film that documents that indigenous wisdom, that indigenous knowledge that comes out of the Basanja that we need to transmit, not only to those young people in the Congo, but throughout the continent and really throughout the African world. So we'll be bringing these leaders to the U.S. in September, October, and looking to connect with folks in DC and elsewhere, so that we can, build those bonds, establish a solidarity, have folks, come to the Congo as well. Go to Ghana, go to Benin, go to Congo. We need, folks are looking to reconnect and placing value on the continent in a way that we haven't seen in some time. So I just wanted to share that and stop it there for any questions or discussion about the work that's being done. But that's the centrality of it. Working with the youth, connecting the youth with the elders, connecting the youth with ancestral knowledge, and using that primarily through agriculture. And interestingly enough, I'll just share this one other story too, through mining, that we found if you look at Basil Davison's Lost Cities of Africa, or DeGrasse, or John G. Jackson's Introduction to Africa, we talk about how mining in is used not only in the Congo and elsewhere, thousands of years ago, how products were being transmitted from the heart of the continent out to the coast, the Indian Ocean, Mombasa, Kiowasafala, and being traded with China and India. Some indigenous miners, and they're sharing with us how they have been mining in their family. They've been mining for hundreds of years, and how it is that that traditional form of mining is not as destructive to the environment as the mechanized form of mining is. So that's a part of the film that we'll be sharing as well. As to Congo is just tremendously rich with minerals, but you have some folks who are in collectives where mining is a part of their family, their heritage, in a sustainable way, and they're also we're going to showcase them as well to give a different view into the mining sector in the Congo. So I'll leave it right there.
So, Brother Maurice, when is this conference going to take place? You said September? September
and October. It's not a conference, it's a tour. The folks are going to come and they're going to tour the United States. And there's the folks we're going to bring back Samuel. Samuel was here. He was at, Baba Lumumba's space when we came. Right. We showed his film. And so he's going to come back. Yeah, he's going to come back, and a few others are going to come with him.
Okay, well, please let us know the dates for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll get you. I know it's in September and October, but I'll have the precise dates when we're coming and when we're going to be in DC.
And okay. Did you want me to play the video of Brother Malcolm speaking on the Congo?
Yes, we can wrap up with that. That would be good. Yeah. Yeah, yes, please.
You can speak on that, and whenever you want to play the other video as well.
No, just play that one. Just play. I think Malcolm one will be sufficient.
Okay, so let's try this. Hopefully everything works as it should. Let me try that.
And the press, go get the press when this thing was going on, and you see what I'm talking about. They're vicious in their whiteness. But still, I wouldn't judge them just because they're white, because they call me a racist. Judge them by their deeds, by their conscious behavior. And you know how they've been consciously behaving in the Congo, and how they consciously behave in Vietnam, and how they consciously behave right now in Alabama and Mississippi. So you and I have to get conscious and start behaving in a way that we can offset this thing before it's too late. And this is what they don't want to hear. One more thing concerning Shambi. If you notice, and I must go all over there on the African continent in order to give you a better understanding of what's going on right here. The next thing that is good to know about Shambi, no Congolese troops have ever won any victories whatsoever for the present Congolese government. Congolese soldiers won't even fight unless they're forced to. But the fighters in the Congo were the freedom fighters, these brothers from the Oriental Eastern province. And they fought with stones and sticks and rocks, spears and arrows. And the only time they had a gun was when they got some soldier who had it, and they'd kill him and take his gun. But they were winning. They took over 2/3 of the Congo, showing you they were fighting from their heart. Whereas these other people, their heart wasn't in it. And because of the fighting spirit of these people, it will be impossible for Shambi to remain as head of state over the Congo without additional troops, white troops, constantly being brought in from South Africa or elsewhere. But sooner or later, these troops are going to give out, and then America is going to have to increase her troops, like she did in South Vietnam. You know, she has. She's not at war over there, you know. They're only over there advising. They got about 20,000 advisors, you know, on the front line. But it's not a war. It's just they're in an advisory capacity while they insult the intelligence of their own public. And they're going to have to end up doing the same thing in the Congo. They'll be trapped. They'll have to eventually send American troops to occupy the Congo because the African freedom fighters are going to fight. They're not going to give up 1 inch without fighting back. And this is something that you should know, that they realize now on the African continent what's at stake and how much all of these Western powers have in common in what they're doing in cahoots with each other behind the closed door. So on the African continent, they are training Africans to be soldiers so that they can invade each one of these countries and take it over and give it to their rightful people. One of the reasons, one of the last things I must say concerning the Congo, not only do they not intend for the Congo to fall into African hands because of its mineral wealth, and it has the greatest deposits of some of the richest elements or minerals of any other area on this earth. They don't intend to give it up because of its wealth. Another reason they don't intend to give it up, if you look at the map, you'll see that it is so strategically located geographically, wherein if a real genuine African government were to come in power over the Congo, then it would be possible for African troops from all countries to invade Angola, which is a Portuguese possession, and if Angola fell, and it would fall, then it would only be a matter of time before Southwest Africa, Southern Rhodesia, and Bechuanaland also would fall, and it would put African troops right on the border of South Africa. And that's where they really want to get, at that man down there in South Africa. And the United States interests are involved in blocking this, yes. Some of these liberals who grin in your face like they're your best friend, they got money tied up in the Congo. Some of the most powerful political figures in this country, some of them governors over states, got interest in the Congo and got interest in South Africa and got interest all over the African continent and go there. And as the Africans awaken and realize this, it makes them filled with the incentive to never rest until that exploiter is driven out. So now, what effect does this have on us? Why should the black man in America concern himself, since we've been away from the African continent for 400 years, 300 or 400 years? Why should we concern ourselves? What impact does what happened to them have upon us? Number one, first you have to realize that up until 1959, Africa was dominated by the colonial powers, and by the colonial powers of Europe having complete control over Africa, they projected the image of Africa negatively. They projected Africa always in a negative light. Jungles, savages, cannibals, nothing civilized. And naturally, it was so negative until it was negative to you and me. And you and I began to hate it. We didn't want anybody to tell us anything about Africa, and much less call us an African. And in hating Africa and hating the African, we ended up even hating ourselves without even realizing it. Because you can't hate the roots of a tree and not hate the tree. You can't hate your origin and not end up hating yourself. You can't hate Africa and not hate yourself. And you show me one of these people over here who have been thoroughly brainwashed, who has a negative attitude toward Africa, and I'll show you one that has a negative attitude toward himself. You can't have a negative attitude toward yourself, a positive attitude toward yourself, and a negative attitude toward Africa at the same time. To the same degree that your attitude, that your understanding of an attitude toward Africa becomes positive, you'll find that your understanding of and your attitude toward yourself will also become positive. And this is what the white man knows.
Thank you, Rod, for sharing that. There's so much in that 6 minutes, but one of the key things we wanted to convey is what Malcolm talked about, the centrality of the Congo, its wealth, its strategic location, and how it is that the powers that be, Western powers, United States, don't want Congo to be in the hands of Africans. Not that still very much obtains to this very day, and so that's a major part of the reason why we're continuing our work and our solidarity, so that the heart of the African continent can wind up in African hands.
Absolutely, that's very important, Bob.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And Malcolm spoke very clearly about the situation there, even back when he was still alive. So we need to certainly be involved in bringing that level of knowledge to our people today. And we appreciate you spreading the word and being very much involved
I think
in
that's
that
Fik froze, or
kind of
maybe
political
I froze.
activity.
Sure. If you can still hear me.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm still there.
I'm still here.
Yeah, we can hear you. Your video is a little bit frozen, but we can hear you.
I have a quick question.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead, Bob.
Brother
Please.
Maurice, I feel really sad to hear a lot of things going on in the Congo, especially on the west, the eastern part of the country, where this M23 rebels and all these other various Islamic and other rebel groups are terrorizing the people. Do you foresee any end to that? I mean, it seems like it's been going on for 20, 30, I don't know, 20 years, 25. Do you see
Yeah. It's been going on for
madness?
over 25 years. And
Yeah.
the US is deeply implicated in that because the US is driven primarily by Rwandan government, Paul Kagame, and the US is arming him, financing him, training him. And when there's an attempt to bring him to account, the U.S. usually runs political and diplomatic interference. When Obama was in president, he did a little something in that he withheld some military aid from Kagame.
You're free.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's Brother Maurice is in Mexico.
Right.
I was actually pretty impressed with how the Wi-Fi was doing all along. Like it decided to trip a little bit.
Yeah.
He's back.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Over 10
We
years
lost
later.
you momentarily.
Yeah.
Ahead.
And over 10 years later, Kagame's back at it again. In the U.S. this time they say he's doing the same thing, but they haven't taken the kind of action that that Obama did. But what is similar this time is that SADC, the Southern African Development Community, are back in again.
Okay, we lost him again.
Really fast.
Yeah. There you go.
So remember, it was Mugabe from Zimbabwe, Dos Santos from Angola, Angola, Zimbabwe. The SADC folks came in to beat back Rwanda and Uganda. That was backed by the United States. In fact, at the time, the Namibians were sharing with us that when they beat back the Rwandans, Ugandans, Madeleine Albright called the folks in Namibia and said, hey, we need your help in getting back those Rwandans that you all, captured around Kinshasa. So we've seen the Pan-African response. The question is, will it be strong enough this time to beat back Rwanda? But yeah, I see an end coming to it, without a doubt. Of course, the government in Kinshasa is weak. If you had a stronger government in Kinshasa, I think it could accelerate the end. But the reason why Rwanda and Uganda haven't captured Eastern Congo fully is because the people have been resisting. You know, the sticks and the stones that Malcolm talked about. That's what's really that's happening right now today, but it's being done with proxies. That's really important for us as Pan-Africanists to look at the history, right? In the 60s, right? Nkrumah, Modibo Keita, Ahmed Sekou Touré, what did they do? They rallied behind the Congo and said we have to protect the Congo, and they see the Congo as central to a United States of Africa. And today, what we see, Museveni, Kagame, they're cutting up that Congo. They want to get their piece of the Congo. You know, so if anybody tells you, if there's any litmus test for Pan-Africanism, if you look at the fathers of Pan-Africanism, on the continental fathers of Pan-Africanism, they rallied behind the Congo. So if you're saying you're a Pan-Africanist, Yoweri Museveni, you're saying you're a Pan-Africanist, Paul Kagame, why are you ravaging the Congo, right? Why are you stealing the timber? Why are you stealing the gold and the coltan and the tin? Why and selling it to, everybody in the world? So a litmus test, a benchmark for Pan-Africanism historically is the rallying around the Congo, because that's what Nkrumah did, that's what Keita did, that's what Touré did. And if you don't believe me, go read Nkrumah's The Challenge of the Congo, where he laid out why Congo is central to the future of Africa. So these guys who are working as agents of the West, the Musevenis and the Kagames, they're ravaging the Congo. So that's part of the reason why we see Congo.
Almost, y'all. Almost. He's gonna come back on. I know it.
Right.
Sorry, not only to the advancement of the Congo, obstacles not only to the advancement of the Congo, but Africa, because there is, Thabo Mbeki himself said it. He said there is no new Africa without a new Congo.
Brother Maurice, I got a question for you, and some of the answers to the question, but I want to hear you sort of address it. There's a lot of I guess call it, I don't know, propaganda, or whatever, that comes out of Rwanda, where they I guess try to make excuses for their presence in the Congo, and the fact that they're one of the major sources of a mineral they don't possess any of in their own country. The idea that there was this Houthi group that ran away from after the Civil War, ran to the Congo, and took possession of mining there, and was trying to use the mining resources to generate enough wealth to come back to retake or start or to fuel the civil war in Rwanda, and they had to send troops, Rwandan troops down to the Congo to to subdue the Houthi troops and retake those mines, and they now maintain those mines, and now take resources, steal resources, really what it is, from those mines, and the reason why they can't give it back to they can't give it back to the rightful owners, they can't give it back to the Congolese people, because if they give it back to the Congolese people, the Houthis will take possession of it again, and it's some type of weird military security issue that they have to maintain these mines, otherwise the Houthis will take it over again. If you can address that whole circular thinking and propaganda.
That's as an excuse has been used for like 25 years. In a few days, or in about a week or two, we're going to commemorate the 6-Day War in the Congo. And the 6-Day War occurred from June 5th to June 10th, 2000. And that 6-Day War was a war between Rwanda and Uganda in the Congo. Rwandan soldiers fighting Ugandan soldiers in the Oriental province, that same province that Malcolm talked about. And they were fighting. Remember, Rwanda and Uganda invaded Congo twice, 96 and 98, together as allies. But they fell out with each other in the Congo and fought each other, killing Congolese. Two foreign armies fighting on Congolese soil. They weren't chasing after the Hutus or the FDLR.
Yeah, apologize, folks. The Wi-Fi. I was really impressed how the Wi-Fi was doing, but it's
Yeah.
we got you back, Baba.
I don't know if he knew he missed.
You
missed him.
You said they weren't fighting over. You're about to say what they were fighting over.
Yeah, they were fighting over minerals. They weren't fighting. Yeah. They weren't going after those people that they say are a threat to them. They're trying to see who can control minerals. And I really, it's like this: the military of Rwanda, the military of Uganda, they're fighting in the Congo. You know, that's four. So if their concern was militia groups, they would have been unifying to go after those militia groups. But no, they weren't doing that. They were fighting over minerals. See who was going to. This cutout is insane. I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if you got the gist of what I said.
What were those dates on the Six-Day War, please, Baba? I don't know if you heard me.
I think it's in the 5th to the 10th. I could be wrong, but
what year was that?
I don't know if you got the gist of what I said.
Yeah, that was 2000. That was
2000.
June 6th to 10th in the year 2000. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why the connection is so unstable. Just all of a sudden, like we've been on for like almost.
I know it was like I was so impressed. Mama Tenda said CIA, but could be. I was so impressed by how
that
was, you know. But we can hear you, but it's it just keeps keeps freezing and bringing you out and taking you out and bringing you back in. I think we're in the out mode.
Yes.
But if anybody has any questions for Baba Maurice, I'm sure he's gonna pick him out and bring him back in again. You can put it in the chat. That way he can address it. It could be like I said, he's in Mexico, and I was like, whoa, the Wi-Fi is good, it's steady and everything, but
yeah, he's totally gone there, huh?
Yeah, it didn't pop him back in.
Okay.
But if you
maybe he'll try to link back in. We certainly want to thank him for sharing with us tonight. It's valuable information.
Amazing.
I wanted to ask him a question about, because of course he's been familiar with Songhai for some time, and he did mention he lived in Benin for a period.
Yes.
And a lot of his work is with a lot of indigenous groups in the Congo that are the way the Congo is, it's almost like a lot of small island communities. And what I mean by that is there aren't traversing inter highways that connect different regions of the Congo. There's a lot of isolated communities where you really can't get to them with ease. You can't get out of them with ease. So you sort of have these pockets, and of course you got the capital, but then aside from the capital, you know, you have all these isolated, you know, indigenous communities that is pretty much left to fend for themselves. They really, government serves them absolutely, you know, which is why oftentimes it's easy for a lot of these infiltrators, and you know, whether it's Russia or whether it's Rwanda, to come through and you know, do what they will, because they have no protection from the government. The government's not even involved in their daily life. They pretty much, you know, whatever they got, they built, they maintain, so on and so forth. But I wanted to ask him, you know, why, and with all his work there, why he thinks that even though he mentioned there was a model, there is a model, an indigenous model. I think said it was Basanja, in the Congo. I'm wondering why the Benin, maybe if there's a reception or any interest, or if he'd ever shared with, or what the response was for the specific model in Benin, considering how complex and interwoven it is, which would be ideal for an isolated community that doesn't necessarily need from outside. The idea of having an integrated system that would provide everything you need within your community. I'm wondering if that's something that he's aware of that have been tried specifically with the SONGHAI model in the Congo. That may have to be a question for another time. I think the the 3-letter word, or maybe, I don't know. It finally we done. It's over. We cutting it.
Them alphabet groups are at work, huh?
Yeah, bro.
Man. Wow.
We done let slack enough. Nah, we ain't doing no more. But you know, anyway, thank you, Brother Obi. Thank you for the audience. You know, they stayed with us. You know, KUZALIWA. You know, we used to be in person, you know, back in the day. You know, right now we're doing virtual. We know today's African Liberation Day. Want to let folks be part of those programs and still join us, and those who were able to join us in person. There's some folks who are watching on YouTube, some folks who are watching on Facebook. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you, Brother Obi, for wonderful presentation. And in fact, let me share. I think you meant to share this in the group chat, but I think you might have sent it to me. This is the link. If you want to make a donation to support the program Brother Obi talked about, the Rebuild Africa. That's the site to donate to the Rebuild Africa site for the scholarships that sends children, you know, from Ghana to Songhai. If you want to support that, that's in the chat.
Great.
And also, you know, another link to the mission as well. If anybody wanted to check that out, and definitely thank you again for everything you do, Brother Obi, and thank you for being willing to come through and doing a bang up job. You know, and thank you to your assistant. I don't know which assistant that was. You got a few assistants. I don't know which assistant that was. But
Mother's daughters, yeah.
Well, first of all, look, I can't do none of it without the Queen, Benika Shepsu.
There you go.
Which is over here.
You better know
even
it.
and even the first SONGHAI documentary, she was working on that. We worked on that together. But that was Msara Sekita Maui, Msara. You know, Msara be coming through clutch on the technical end with a lot of stuff. And what's your book, Msara? Name?
How to Become the Conqueror, an African American Revelation.
She has a book called How to Become the Conqueror, an African American Revelation.
It's a book of
that is it's a poetry book, but it's a very revolutionary. Y'all would be very impressed with this book. People are talking about it everywhere. I don't even know. It's an educational primer.
Done in poetry.
That's like, I mean, it's next level. I was like, oh my God, where'd you learn them big words? She was saying them Baba Ajay words.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Where is it available?
You can get it on. It's on Amazon. It's on all the Barnes and Noble. It's everywhere. How to Become the Conqueror.
I just added the link to her book, and you know, at least for Amazon. You know, you don't have to.
Okay, cool. Thank you. It's awesome. It's awesome, and she
it can be intense.
it's intense, but she she grew up grew up in DC, and she's like all of them. She went through the rites of passage at Nation House, the Uncle B at rites of passage, and so
Is this the one that went to I think Namibia?
Yeah. She went to South Africa, Namibia, Zambia, and Botswana. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Last year. Yeah, so she was educated
and she's also done some work with the United Black Community and the Kwanzaa Planning Committee as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They both.
A lot of talent in that family there, Obi.
They both.
Yes, thank you. Be working on it. Working on it, guys.
All right.
A lot of good people. And so the SONGHAI website is on there also, the songhai.org. It's he put it up there right there. So check that out. Anything you want to know. If you speak French, you can get on there and look at it in French, or you can look at it in English.
And Brother Obi, next time y'all going on that tour, if y'all doing it, if y'all need like a baggage handler or somebody to carry boxes, or a boom mic or whatever, I mean, I'm saying, think of a brother. You know what I mean?
I will.
Places available, brother.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, bro,
thank you,
and thank you to Brother Maurice. We lost the connection, but we appreciate and all the work that he does, and definitely we'll keep you all abreast when he brings the group from the Congo later on in the year.
Yes, indeed.
We'll definitely have a listening session with them, and there are opportunities if folks are interested in traveling to the Congo. I know Brother Maurice will be organizing some trips to the Congo, next year. So definitely, if you're interested, you can always are interested in any details of any of the programs or presentations or any part of the KUZALIWA program we did today. Send an email to info at UBC. I'll give you another web email address. Sorry, UBCNDC at Yahoo.com. Yeah, UBCNDC at Yahoo.com. If you have any questions or extra information or what have you, we'll definitely get back to you. Again, thank you everyone. For
Placy, can I mention something real quick before we go?
Bob. Yeah, but we got some announcements. We gotta do.
Also, this was recorded, right? So they can go into our website.
Or it's live streaming on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I was going to mention I'd like to mention about the July forum that we're doing. It was scheduled in April, but we weren't quite ready in April to do the forum on violence in the Black community. And we had circulated a survey, and some of the community members participated in the survey and gave us some good ideas on eliminate violence as part of the solutions and the root causes. And we would still like to get your wisdom when we send out the survey. The survey is still running, and we would like to have the survey questions are just basically the root causes, the symptoms, and solutions for the violence that's going on in our community. And you can send your survey answers or recommendations to ubcndc@yahoo.com by at least July the 11th, so we could have it in time, so we can have that part of the forum when we discussing some of those three items: the root causes, symptoms, and solutions. And we just want to hear from the community, because I know this community, the Pan-African community here in DC, some of the wisest communities, not just in the United States, but around the world. So we want to hear you, get your wisdom on how we can end violence, and also what role can our community play in that. We can. I know Gil Scott got a song said it must be something we can do. So let's hear from you on your survey questions, please.
Yeah,
the root causes, symptoms, and solutions of violence afflicting African people in the United States and even around the world. What's causing this, man? It's not genetics.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. And for June, we have a workshop, well, not workshop, well, forum, I guess it's more of a forum, on economics for self-reliance, how to effectively utilize our economic resources to create self-reliant Black and create Black empowerment, not just for now, but going into the future. So that's going to be the forum on July 21st of this year, our next forum. So y'all look out.
You mean June, Bob?
Sorry, June, my bad. Yeah, June 21st. And the one Bobby Mama was talking about will be on July 19th. And while we're at it, we want to make sure everybody knows about the DC Pan-African Festival. It's going to be on July 13th, right, Baba?
Yes.
At Lansbury Park in Southwest DC. If you were there last year, you know the location. This year's gonna be bigger. We got more vendors. We got food vendors. We got
most definitely
a lot going on this year. So definitely want you to put that on your calendar. This is the Living in KUZALIWA Festival. Again, that's July 13th in Lansbury Park in Southwest. So put that on your calendar as well, and thank everyone.
And of course, it's free.
Yeah, bro. Everything. Well, it's free to attend. If you want to attend, Bobby Mama.
Oh yeah, sure.
Contact if you email that or phone number. But if you want,
you can call 202-529-3635. 202-529-3635.
Yeah, bro. And if people want, if you're interested in being a vendor, you could call that number, or you can also email lcpanindc@gmail.com. lcpanindc@gmail.com. If you're interested in vending, but the festival is free. Come out, family, whole family, from very young to very old, and everybody in between. Come through. Let's celebrate Pan-Africanism. And let's support each other. There's gonna be a lot of really incredible vendors there as well. And
also, if you would like to help in the planning of the festival, we have a committee, real robust committee that we have. If you'd like to be a part of that, you can also call that number to be to join us as a committee member. So we always need some more workers, you might say. Many hands make heavy tasks easy. I think that's what the proverb says. So yeah, if you're an LCPAN member organization, then you can feel free to come and join us on the committee.
And what's the number again?
And what's that number, Ebo?
202-529-3635.
Okay. And also we've got the 20th annual John Coltrane tribute on September the 20th at the new E-Life restaurant out of Capitol Heights, 9033 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights. That'll take place on September 20th, the 20th annual. So look out for that too. We'll have flyers out pretty soon for that. And we've got, so far we've got Master Abade Quintet scheduled to perform, backed by popular demand, and Mama Kichi Taifa is going to do some poetry. And we're working on getting a songstress, either Cindy Brown or Aquia Aldridge. be back. She performed a few years ago. We may bring her back this year. And of course, the Malcolm X drummers and dancers. So that certainly it's going to be a beautiful program as usual.
I got something to put out there also. Nation House is doing the 50th anniversary reunion weekend.
Oh, okay.
And that's coming up on the weekend of I think the 7th, 8th, 9th of June. So that's right around the corner. Just read what they have on the Evite. It says, "Welcome to the Nation House 50th anniversary reunion weekend. Join us for a weekend of celebrating as we embark on a golden journey commemorating 50 years of shaping young African minds, fostering academic excellence and growth, celebrating our rich African heritage, and creating lifelong memories." So that's a big one.
That's June 6th, 7th, and 8th, you say?
It's the gala starts June the 8th, but I think the weekend starts on the 7th.
7th, okay.
7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yeah. Well, it says anniversary gala the 8th, and yeah, it says 7th to the 9th. Yep.
All right. Okay. And that's going to be held where?
Well, the gala is going to be at the Silver Spring Civic Center.
Civic Center. Oh.
Yeah, at 4 p.m. on the 8th. And folks can get tickets online as well. In fact, let me put the link in for that as well. For the tickets to the gala. You can go to Nation House's site, which is nationhouse.org, to get more detailed information as well. I'm gonna put that in there.
I see Mama Tendai put up the Adasi's annual ancestor Riverwalk Saturday, June the 8th as well.
Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah, and they're honoring Daniel Moja this year.
And our own brother Kamal Siddiqui, I understand, will be one of the keynote speakers.
Yes, indeed.
At the church.
Yes.
Yeah. Baba Kamal Siddiqui.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that'll be I think the program honoring Genuine Moja is the day afterwards. So that's on this Sunday
yes
at Thurgood Marshall.
Thurgood Marshall, right.
While the ancestral commemoration is going to be at Union Temple the day before.
Right.
A lot of wonderful stuff going on, y'all.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Thank God for that. Yeah, bro. And again, thank you. Yeah, bro. Thank you, Mama, for putting it in there. And thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. By Rasfiq, by Bobby Mamu, any other, our brother Obi, any other last minute things to add?
Man, just wonderful presentations by both Obi and brother Maurice, man. Outstanding, man.
Yeah, very good.
Right.
Yeah.
And thank you to our long distance runners who stayed on for the whole program. We definitely appreciate you all.
Yes.
That's time well spent. Valuable information. You're not gonna get it anywhere, and that's when we try to bring you something you won't get anywhere. And as powerful as it is, we wish we had 1,000 people. But eventually, we get our views on YouTube and so on and so forth. So they catch it eventually. But sometimes it's not sexy enough to get them up on a screen, especially on a Saturday night. But we out here, and we appreciate all of you all who are out here doing the work. And God bless everyone. And have a safe evening.
Yes.
Get some rest. And Brother Obi, I know it's like 12 noon. And you still got the whole day.
He
got the whole day ahead of you. You got the whole day ahead of you.
Hang
I'm about to go to the park. No, I'm playing.
That's beautiful.
Make it happen.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Dominica said peace and blessings, everybody.
Yeah, peace and blessings, Queen.
Same
Peace
to
and
her,
blessings.
man. We appreciate
Yes.
all of her work and contributions. Absolutely.
All right. Peace,
And the
everyone.
rest of the family.